Hello everyone, welcome to the Tech Podcast series. This is Lakshit Pant from Azure Developer Community by Microsoft. This episode we have our industry leader, Ms. Utsaha Sharma with us. She's the co-founder and CEO of at Qniverse. Again, BW Disrupt 30 under 30. In this podcast series, we'll talk about quality assurance. We will talk about about Qniverse, the quality culture, and a couple of lot more industries that we might have never touched around. So let's quickly start this podcast series with a quick introduction of Utsaha. I would request Utsaha if you could introduce yourself first for our audience.
Hi, nice to have you in your podcast. I am the co-founder and CEO of Qniverse. I have been in this industry for more than 7 years now, and Qniverse is all about quality. We take a 360-degree of holistic approach in terms of quality, making sure that we are delivering quality in terms of software, in terms of process, and in general, Qniverse stands for quality assurance. I mean, it might sound cliche, but that's our motto. That's something written in our website and everywhere, that QA is our DNA. It's not in our DNA, but it is our DNA. So
So
yeah.
can you just walk us through quickly through the journey that has been through here about the quality assurance industry, and how have you founded the Qniverse, right? What has been the thought behind founding, working out in the industry?
Talking about how Qniverse was started, I was working as a tester before when I started my career, when there was not much of a buzz in the IT industry, that everybody was so focused in development and just developing and then delivering. Developer used to do the testing itself, and that's when I thought, okay, I want to do something which is not related to just coding and something which will add more value. So that's how I started the testing career. Then, after getting into multiple companies, I realized how crucial it was. Like, generally, when it was started, let's say 4 5 years, there were not much importance of quality assurance given to any software company. Like, I would say, there were not that level of respect. Also, initially, it was a kind of a hard path, I would say. Then that's how we started with testing. Then when we went a step further, we realized that quality assurance is much more than just testing, and we had to make sure that quality assurance is taken care from the initiation of the project, not only in production, because many software fails. And that's when I think around 2017-18, like, IT companies really had a big boom of having QA engineers. There were mm, uh, lots of CVs and lots of market for quality assurance. That's how I started my journey of QA. I was basically working for US company named as Leapfrog, and then life happened and I had to be in Mumbai. Then it was more in fintech. Then you realize more that it started with IT companies. Then fintech realized that how quality assurance was, if not taken care properly, they used to have a lot of losses, like direct impact in finances. And that's where I realized how important quality assurance is. And I was able to prove people, like in the age of 23, I was able to lead a team of like 30 people. And then that's how my quality assurance journey took a big jump, I would say, in Mumbai. Then then again I had to do my masters, because that's not where I wanted to stop. And I worked for UK based company, and it was a big IT company. And when I was doing there, I realized how big market quality assurance is. And from a normal QA team, I decided to take it a step further and not just help one QA companies, but multiple IT companies, fintech companies. And that's how Qniverse was born, with a vision to transform the way how the world views quality assurance. So that's how.
Wow, the way you explained seems like very exciting journey for you, right? When we talk about this quality culture, right, it basically seems for the organization on a larger scale, which you are, manufacturing or maybe producing the software in a larger scale, right? How do you define quality culture, and what do you believe? Why is it so essential for the organization in any terms?
So initially they had a misconception, right? The team, that quality is just a responsibility of QA engineers, but that's not basically the case, right? When you want to have something properly done, it has to be taken care from day one. So if you want to make a house, let me give you a very basic example, which is so much easier for people to understand, that you don't design and do everything and get engineers to do everything and end user to test it at the end, because it might not go right at the end. You might need to break everything, and it might not be as per the expectations. So having quality from the day one, from requirement analysis, understanding what exactly everyone is trying to achieve, requirement analysis, then design, then development, like all of this, each area has to be taken care by from the day one, right? Okay, making sure that requirement are done properly. Then once the requirement are done properly, the design are done properly. Previously we used to just have an audit kind of a thing: requirement done, design done, development done, and after everything is done you do testing. And it's more about finding bugs, while quality assurance is more about preventing the bugs, making sure that it's quality. It's more focus in, not like we always say, right, prevention is better than cure. So quality
Right,
assurance is for prevention than just
right.
finding and identifying bugs. Much bigger than just testing, I would say.
Wow. So, this reminds me of one, so I've been, similarly, I was doing a podcast with one of the cybersec expert, and he mentioned very, this very crucial point that, all these cyber attacks that happens usually, that is not because of the poor tech or the poor tool, right? It's because of the person behind setting those systems, right?
Yeah.
So that has been the misconception. So any I believe that one point that you have mentioned here about the, preventing bugs to happen there. Maybe this could be the. Is there any, common misconception about the quality assurance, or that has been there in the market that you want to address at present at the moment, and the way you address as a organizations to them?
It's mostly like giving quality priority at the end, making sure like, oh, you don't have to involve QA at the initial stage, right? Having the
Okay.
conception that okay, QA just comes at the end when everything is done. No, like making sure that the QA is from day one. That's one misconception I would want to highlight everyone. And it is more than just testing. That's another misconception. Like you will and many organization will just have an opening saying QA, and their roles and responsibility would be like making test cases, running test cases, automation. That's it. I
Yeah.
want people to understand quality assurance is more than just testing. It's more than just identifying the bugs. It's more about focusing on prevention. So if you don't have to break thing, if making sure that things does not break, so that you don't have multiple plasters on top of it, right? So that
That
way
is
we save so much of time in bug fixing, rework, and it helps a lot of cost, time. Eventually, everything would fall into a place, like time, cost, money, everything. I mean, it would save a lot of money and effort for the people. And I see the change happening in the industry, but still somewhere it is still required for long running organization, like, for them to understand what different aspects quality assurance have. And even I would say colleges, I mean, even the engineering colleges or computer engineering colleges, I think they should have this subject as quality assurance, because we don't have that in our,
we
yeah,
don't.
in
Yeah.
our. And even when I studied, right, I did it in like UK based company. Oh, that's when I did my self research on what exactly it is. There was just one small topic named as testing in your syllabus, nothing much in one chapter of software engineering. But if we give educate people from like start, I think people will have more knowledge. Like they will not be like, oh, what's going on in QA. For now, we have been doing that in terms of training and going to colleges, explaining what quality assurance is,
Wow.
giving them what career they can even have in quality assurance. So if there is more noises, they would know more. Like for an example, if it's people are saying AI, 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 everybody would be on AI. At one
Right.
time, it was all Java, 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 and everybody would just do Java, Java. Like for people to understand, there is multiple career opportunities in quality assurance, as well as how important quality assurance is for even an organization. If a developer want to learn in their initial stage, they will not be able to give that respect to QA engineers. And that has also been so much of challenges initially. And even for project manager who is managing the project, if they don't understand the importance of quality assurance, they will not give it a priority, right? So that's
Right. Yeah.
misconception and
100%
somewhere
agree to your points, right, that you have said, because if I speak at the moment here in India, the way we see it, right, the way the people see quality assurance engineer as a job, or a tester as a job, it's more like, not that much repetitive as in comparison to a developer, right? But yeah, that's the one thing that makes your product stand apart from everyone else, I believe, because yeah, that can always be measured. But I really wonder, how do you measure the success of a quality culture within an organization, or with the quality of the product within an organization? What are the
so
success metrics for this?
So, so basically, normally it would not be after UAT, like user acceptance testing, making sure
Okay.
that it has a close, like smooth process. But in some organization, they just skips UAT process, and which is another problem we are trying to solve in quality assurance, and it just passes to uh, production. And like getting the system crash, not working. If you see many apps, like giving an example of Forlinko, it keeps crashing every time and it is
Yeah.
already live, right? How much business they might be losing it. So the amount of bugs and issues we would see, and how that business that affects the business flow of the organization, that would basically determine the quality of a product.
Okay.
Initially it could basically theoretically be seen in UAT itself, like while having user acceptance testing. But since many of the people are also not educated in terms of what are they supposed to do in UAT, right? How they are supposed to use the system as per end user, and not just to go, not like just go for ABCD, just go overall business flow. When we see that overall business flow is going properly with that software, not having any issues, making sure all the scenarios are taken care, not coming at the end and realizing, oh, I forgot that scenario. When the business flow works properly within the software and it achieves the goal for having that software, I think that's where you will be able to measure quality based on what kind of bugs you find it, what kind of remaining task you have. I think that's the one way to find it. Another way is that would be for functional side. And for non-functional side, again, how you, in terms of if user wants to use that app or not. For an if it's business to business, it might not be more into user experience, but still the end users finding it easy to use it. For an example, Uber, making sure that Uber has quality requirement, right? We
Right.
can do that only after making sure that drivers easily can use it, like
Right.
not only for tech people, but we need to understand it is for a driver, it is for people who must not have much knowledge in software. So that's
Right.
overall experience would help that. And again,
Yeah.
performance, so knowing
The
who
UX.
the overall, if it's overall smoothly done, then I think, yeah.
Yeah, it's more about the UX that makes it easier for anyone to
In general,
understand.
it has to achieve the goal. Why did we made that software? Why was that even a need for us to build it, to make sure that need,
Relevant, right? Yeah.
yeah, need is
Yeah.
fulfilled? That's where you realize that it has been it has we have achieved.
In fact, just before this podcast, the last podcast which I was having with one of the industry leader, he was mentioning something. I just randomly asked him about about what will be the future prediction about next unicorn, right? Where we will see
Yeah,
next unicorn, and he mentioned very fair point that it is not about unicorn, it is about being relevant in the industry. So that
yeah.
relevant that you mentioned is fairly good enough to put this put a strong foundation of this. And after all these years, what do you think, what are the trend do you see shaping the future of quality assurance industry here?
Look, the core value is never going to change, but how to
Okay.
achieve that core value, would slightly change. For an example, right, shifting towards like continuous testing. Like now that we have so much continuous CI/CD going on,
Right.
we can't wait for, oh, everything has to be done, but like continuous integration and deployment is going on, but we're not doing continuous testing, or would be a problem, right? So I think that's where it have already started evolving, but it will continue evolving in the same pace of development and deployment. Another would be, we have a lot of automation tools coming in a market, but I think it would be more in basis of no code automation, and
Okay.
probably after some years AI in testing. Yeah, some
Yeah.
years like, it's still going on. I would still not agree that that's gonna replace humans, but some aspect it's gonna help us. Another would be a shift left testing. It's mean going forward towards development team and telling them, hey, these are my test cases, these are the scenario I would want to run in the particular thing. So letting them know upfront, understanding what development team is also doing, and helping them so that we have less bugs. Against shift left testing, like I said, core value would always be there. Focus on customer experience, because at the end, yeah, it's customer who needs to accept it. That's there.
Right.
Security testing and compliance, it has always been important and it will be important. I would say managing the data is very important for the future. So making sure that we have proper taste, data management and synthetic data. I mean, that would help QA team to adapt with multiple strategy. I think that's something it would change. And cloud-based testing, it has again started. It will continue going on.
Get it. And what are your perspective about scope of innovation in this particular industry? Because tool is one thing, testing is one thing, but and quality is always has been the priority. But where are the scope of innovation where something new can be done or something innovative can be done in this particular industry?
So, in terms of quality assurance, right? I would say like core value is not gonna change. If you tell me that, oh, what will how will quality assurance evolve, then it is quality assurance. Nothing more can be evolved here. It's just that how you do it, and eventually, I think it will evolve on people understanding how important it is for their business. That's what
Get
it's
it.
going to evolve, and I think it will evolve in more, in better space. For an example, people would be more focused on spending more to make sure that quality is assured. I see it evolve. I mean, I already see so much of evolvement in past 5 years, and I just going it in up space, because everybody at the end wants quality. Either it's quality in your food, quality in your life, quality in your software. In general, I think quality has been like basic for everyone. Like how we said how having food would evolve. We will have food, but probably a different kind of food would be there. But quality assurance, I think it will evolve for good, where people would invest more on understand more about its importance, and that's how I would say.
And we have came along so far till health building universe, right? What motivates you personally to continuously pushing the boundaries of what's possible in this particular industry, right? What has been your thought about it?
So, to be honest, I feel so passionate about finding the passion of getting everything quality, like quality. I think it might sound cliche, but I'm so passionate about quality in the lifestyle or quality in the work. um, I think the motivation is the team wanting to do so much better. Not few years back, I would see people. I used to interview people, and they would say, "Why did you choose quality assurance?" And their answer would be, "Oh, because I was not interested in development. I was not doing good in development. That's why I moved to
Yeah.
QA." Right? I mean, that's a very honest answer people would give, and so many of them also did that. But now, when I see taking an interview with people, their answer has changed so dramatically, because they want to make a positive change. They feel how equal they are with development team. I mean, for a long time they thought, oh, it's not the as equal job as it was, right? And
Right.
now being able to change that in terms of people. being able to put that passion in like new generation IT people who actually want to be quality assurance and not doing because they didn't have any choice. Because I see many people saying they did it because they didn't have any other options, right? But now seeing how they are doing well, how they want to do well, and another bit is the young passion we have, and the attitude of having quality should be everyone's responsibility. That thought process drives me, and yeah, I just like QA. It just has always been what I wanted to do. If so,
Wow.
I don't think I can do anything good than a quality assurance.
Yeah, and when you have mentioned about the team, right, I saw, right, I really wanted to know what has been your secret sauce, because I saw, right, you have had 50, around roughly around 50, people in 15 months of time. Has it been there, right? What how did it happen, right? It's pretty tough, at that particular time, right? It's not that easy to find those people who are really interested in this particular domain. So what has been your secret sauce in hiring people?
I would say I wanted to have an environment for the people which I wanted when I was starting my career, like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
terms of what I was in their feet, I would say. I started with having the employee engagement team. The first team I think it might sound quite different, but whenever any organization is built, right, their first focus would be like just getting something which brings the money in a business. But my first team, after having few QA, like when I had 12 QA, I had two employee engagement team members. So that was one of, I think
Wow.
that's how it has helped. And then getting all bunch of new employee engagement team members and doing multiple employee engagement activities, getting into the colleges, even using Instagram, I would say, that has helped have more people wanting to join Qniverse. Like we just opened an internship program for a week, and we have more than 400 applicants.
Wow, wow. Looking ahead, I really wonder, what are your goals and aspirations for, Universe in coming years? What do you think? What's the next milestone for the Universe would be?
We just started. We want to be more stable, I would say. It's too early. It's just we are just 3 years old, and we are looking to continue doing good quality work, have a good name in quality assurance market. And like most of the company failed in first year, and we were and even after having COVID, there was so much economy drop. Like then after that, there was war, and there is so much grab, but still we were able to survive. So I think for next 2 3 years, it would be just making sure that we get our best career, like feet correctly, and then eventually grow. I would not say, oh, I want to be number one like 2 years. That's not realistic. I would want to be very realistic and make
Yeah.
sure what I exactly done. So make sure that we stick to our values, we have our base correct, and keep growing and like contributing in quality assurance, which
Wow, that's a very honest and fair point that you have mentioned. Now, because we have I have a lots of questions to ask, right? But due to paucity of time, we'll have to stop here. Any
yeah.
last thought you want to leave our audience with, that would, for any aspiring QA engineers there, listening to this podcast?
So I would want to say that if someone is really passionate about QA, they have to be in this industry. But just because you can't get into IT, or you think if it's an easy job, I don't think you should be doing it thinking it's gonna be easy. It's equally tough, and you have to have an attention to details to all the people wanting to be QA engineers. I think those are the things they should be focusing on, and more about having the attitude of caring about the product. Once you have that care, rest everything will come into a place. I see people running after just automation, thinking it's gonna make their entire career in a completely different space. But once they have their base correct, and rest all those skills will be easily taken care of.
Wow, wow. Thank you for joining this podcast. It was really my pleasure to host you for this podcast. And to
Same
all
here.
our listeners, I hope you got some really kind insights, honest opinions from Utsa coming in. and we are coming up with lots of initiatives. And just stay tuned with our socials. We'll keep you posted with all the initiatives coming through. Right? Thank you for giving out of your time for
Thank
this
you for
podcast.
having me. Nice to have me.
Yeah,
Like,
likewise.
thank
It
you.
was my pleasure. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.